let's talk about the LA mayor's race here before the end of the show, because you brought up a great point. We have a great new mayor or candidate.
Yeah, Caruso.
Caruso. And I like this guy because Caruso built the Americana in Glendale, which is a disgusting outdoor mall where animals go, and they eat at the Cheesecake Factory. But he's going to build another version of it exclusively for homeless people, and let them play in the fountains and have fun and shit wherever they want. And I think that's the move. Can you get up his advertisement?
Oh, yes.
They can't get mad at us playing that.
No.
Rick Caruso, he's going to be the new mayor of Los Angeles because he is he's very good at building malls. So he's going to fix the problem, because the homeless crisis is really because they don't have a mall.
I don't think you put it on YouTube, but I bet I can find it on
He's
his
like,
website.
Thank you, Ben. You don't have to telegraph what you're doing. You can just deliver. But I like if he goes, he's like, the problem is that homeless people don't have a mall of their own. Give them a mall. Give them an outdoor mall where they can conduct their business.
Yeah, give them a trolley that goes around in Anthropology.
Something's fun.
Yeah.
Something fun. Clear everyone out of H&M. Let them go in there.
Here's an ad he's running called Faith, Family, and Community.
Think nobody can clean up L.A.?
Yes.
Meet Rick Caruso. Lifelong Angelino. Husband, father, grandson of immigrants. Raised to put faith, family, and community first. A lifelong builder and job creator.
That's right.
Rick created the Southland's most beloved community centers. And he always shared that success.
What are you talking about? The Americana is a beloved community center? It's a corporate hellscape. It's a beloved community center.
People in Glendale don't know where to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big outdoor mall.
That's
community center.
He hands out turkeys on Thanksgiving, like Frank Lucas.
Rick Caruso's a lifelong Angelino. He's made billions of dollars building outdoor malls, and now he's ready to build one for the homeless. Keep going, Ben.
Giving millions to provide health care and a good education to kids in LA's poorest neighborhoods, and giving tirelessly of himself. First appointed by Tom Bradley, he served LA under 3 different mayors, fought corruption and waste, and cut crime 30%.
I'm running for mayor because the city we love is in a state of emergency. Rampant homelessness, people living in fear for their safety, and politicians at City Hall just in it for themselves. My only special interest is Los Angeles, the city we love. It's why I'll work for $1 a year, and I won't take a dime from special interests.
I'm already rich.
Together.
I'll work for $1 a year. I'm already loaded. And I'm a little sick of this city getting less comfortable for me and my friends. So I'm going to work for $1 a year, and we're going to use direct energy weapons on the homeless. You pay me $1 a year, and I will have the LAPD out there with batons every day. It'll cost the taxpayers only $1 a year for me to vaporize homeless people in the middle of the night, so you can feel safe going to the Americana in Glendale and getting a fucking herb-crusted salmon at the Cheesecake Factory for $48. I feel like the people in this don't even know they're in a Rick Caruso ad. He just took photos of people. The city we love. Finish this.
We can clean up LA. Read my action plan at carusocan.com.
Rick Caruso can clean up LA.
Now, get an interview of him up before we get out of here, because maybe I'm making fun of this guy, but
Yeah, I got one right here.
maybe this guy's got a plan, because you've lived here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people about LA real quick.
It's a great place. A lot of homeless people.
Well, what are the problems?
The homeless. And he's going to handle it.
Look at this man. He's going to fix it. Rick Caruso will work for $1 a year. This fucking, what is these dumb slogans? I'll work for $1 a year. Why the dollar?
Just
He's
say
like, I have to make something. I gotta be able to go home and look at my wife. So I need at least $1 a year. Let's see what, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see, Rick.
About sort of what separates you, because ultimately this is a job interview, right? And people got to pick who is the best person for this job. You have a different biography than most of the other people that are running. Why are you the most qualified person to lead LA when a lot of the people you're running against have a lot more experience in government
service? But have they ever built a cheesecake factory?
Let me first talk about them sort of generally for a minute, then I'm going to talk about me, which is an important question that you've asked. They've had a lot of opportunity. They've had decades of public service to get something done, and they haven't. They failed. And I just find it interesting that you've got a group of people that are tasked with making the city safe and livable, and they've had a decade to get it done. They've failed, but they want a raise and a job promotion. That wouldn't happen anywhere else, right? And so if you think they've done a good job, I'm not your candidate. If you want more of the same, I'm not your candidate. Let me tell you about Rick Caruso. I've worked hard. I'm from humble beginnings. I love life. I love giving back, and I've got a track record of moving into a situation where there's a serious problem or a crisis and fixing it. I came into LAPD. It was
last summer at the Cheesecake Factory at the Americana. There was a crisis because one of the chefs was drunk every day and he was burning the chicken fingers. And if you know anything about the Cheesecake Factory, we got great chicken fingers in there. So what I did was I sent him to a rehabilitation program and brought in another chef who is actually my deadbeat cousin. My deadbeat cousin came in there and he actually did a great job. But that's the kind of experience I have.
Under a federal consent decree, run by a federal judge, crime was spiking. I reformed LAPD, hired Bill Bratton, we dropped crime by 30%. That was a crisis situation. Asked to step up at USC. We turned USC around with a lot of help from leadership, but that's a very different enterprise today than it was.
Because if this works, the only people committing crime in this city will be the cops. If my plan is enacted, the only dangerous people in this city will be the police.
I want to restore LA back to the Rampart PD days.
As we know, the LAPD is a great institution that I'm proud to. I reformed them. That involved telling them, hey, do it quietly. I reformed the LAPD with my Do It Quietly program.
Do it quietly.
It's the my Do It Quietly program. It's very successful. Where we encourage cops to behave exactly as they were, but quietly. You bust that guy's head in quietly. I'll make a big deal about everything. See the rest of this. You know what? This guy's, I'm starting to believe in him.
Yeah, he's good.
4 years ago when I took over as chair. And I have this passion about Los Angeles, and we're in a crisis. That's what it is. Let's say what it is. And I've got a track record of being able to manage through a crisis, lead. I'll hold myself accountable. I'll make tough decisions. And I'm not looking for another job. I want to be mayor. I want to get a job done and go home. I'm not looking at making decisions through a political lens to get reelected like all of my other candidates who are running are doing.
And when you say USC, you were chairman of the board of trustees at USC. Fight on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, because we know the two biggest issues right now, you lead with them in your campaign ad.
Why don't we ever see the face of this guy?
Let's start with
Is
crime.
this Milo Yiannopoulos? Why don't we ever see the face of the interviewer? This is incredibly disturbing. Have you ever seen an interview like this? You don't even see the face of the interviewer. I mean, what is happening?
I guess Fox 11 only brought one camera or something.
Yeah. And why is he being interviewed in a restaurant?
I don't know.
It's like,
What's going on? All right, keep going.
All right.
Some of your critics point to the fact that you supported George Gascon for district attorney. Do you regret that? And do you now support his recall?
So I knew George when I was the president of the police commission, and he was a deputy chief, and he wanted to be chief. I didn't make him chief. He wasn't ready for it at the time, and I hired Bill Bratton. Now, he left and became the chief at Mesa, Arizona, and then went up to San Francisco. I knew a very different George. Now, what happened to George on his journey from Mesa to San Francisco that changed the way he thought about fighting crime is very different than where he was. So early in his campaign, I did support him. He was a friend. I knew him from our time together at LAPD. Once his campaign started rolling out and I was hearing about what his plans were, I quickly pivoted and I gave to Jackie Lacey, and I gave her a significant amount of money to support her. So I regret what George has done, and I think George either needs to stand up and say, the policies that I've put into place are harming our communities and I'm going to change them, or he should step down, and if he doesn't step down, he should be recalled because he is harming our communities. And I stand with Charlie Beck, and I stand with Bill Bratton that said the same thing. This was a different George than we all knew when we worked at LAPD together. I don't know what's happened, but clearly he's got to change or he's got to go.
The other big issue is homelessness.
Yep.
Number one thing you're going to do that's going to be different than the people that have been in there so far.
Kill him.
Day one, declare a state of emergency, move the authority into the mayor's office. I'll be accountable to fix it. I'm going to build the smartest team in the country to go fix the problem. We're going to go build 30,000 temporary beds. We've got excess land throughout the city that's declared surplus land. We're going to give people an option to move into a clean, safe place in a very humane way, give them the right services that they need, mental health, physical health, but you don't get a choice to stay on the street anymore. The minute we have a bed for you, you move into the bed, or otherwise there's a consequence to being on the street. You have to draw a bright line that we've got communities all around Los Angeles. Whatever demographics.
What you have to do is you have to do the best finishes. You have to really do indoor-outdoor living because a lot of them are outdoor anyway. You have to do indoor-outdoor living. You need large windows, lots of natural light. You need buildings with gyms. You know, we need to move them into luxury.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to build all these luxury units. And if the homeless people can't afford them, we just sell them to foreign billionaires. But the most important thing, we're going to give the homeless people the option to get a job that pays a lot of money and move into these units for $18,000 a month. And if they can't afford that, we're going to just put these units on the market at market value. And we'll leave the homeless exactly where they are.
That are severely impacted by encampments. You can't tolerate it anymore.
When you say there's a consequence, what does that mean? You're arrested?
You probably are arrested. If we give you a bed and we give you the services and we clean you and we feed you and we support you, and I think there should be retraining programs to get people back on their feet that can get back on their feet, why then should we allow people to live on the street?
Good point.
And where do you draw that line? You can't. And that's what's happened with this problem. Everybody has been so politically correct in their mind, whatever that means, to deal with it. The problem has just gotten larger.
Let's talk about your place in this race. You live a very comfortable lifestyle after working really hard and being very successful in business. That is the American dream, right? But the average American doesn't live your lifestyle. The average Los Angelino doesn't live your lifestyle. How do you relate to somebody who's struggling to pay the bills?
Well, let me tell you, again, I grew up with immigrant parents from Italy that lived in Boyle Heights, and my grandfather was a gardener, and I remember riding in his truck, and I remember a family that lived from paycheck to paycheck. There was always a meal on the table, always
My
worked
father
hard,
was an
but paycheck.
Italian fascist. He was a supporter of Mussolini. How do you relate to the regular people? Well, my father was a fascist who supported Mussolini. They lived paycheck to paycheck, and he used to read books on Hitler. So I know exactly what people in this country are going through right now. I can relate to all of them. Thank you so much.